What's up, fellow lords of gaming, and welcome back to the channel. So we're jumping in today with some Black Desert Online content, specifically looking at Heidel 2025. I'm going to try my best to break down the big major pieces from the update from the Heidel announcements, and then I'll go into some more detail for those of you who don't have short attention spans. So let's jump in. So June 29th, we've got the start for the XP boost. So Combat XP, Skill XP, we've seen these before. They're going to last for a full month. Why does this matter? Because July 2nd, we're going to get the new class Wukong is going to drop. He's going to be available starting tonight with the Global Lab updates, so that way you can go and play him there if you want to get a head start. Next up, August 6th is going to start the new Adania region is going to be introduced along with the sovereign offhand weapons. On August 13th, we're going to get the new mythical horse, the combined form of Dine, Doom, and Ardernaut. And then on August 28th, we're going to get the all-in-one preset, which allows you to switch between PvE and PvP presets instantly. So just take a look at that. Now, Adania is going to have 5 boss castles and then 1 hidden castle with their own unique progressions and challenges and rewards. You're also going to get the new Adania gear as well, which is going to be similar to Slumbering gear, but you're going to need to get these Adania crafting materials in order to combine them with Slumbering gear, so that way you can get your your next level in gear progression. There's going to be weekly boss fights that are offering you top tier artifacts and crystals as well. Talking about the combat imbalance challenges, they're going to simplify accuracy in the evasion system for a clear combat dynamic system, while they're going to change the way damage reduction works. Instead of being multiplicative, it's going to be additive inside there. They're going to have a clear distinction between PvE and PvP damage. All resistance, including your grapples, are going to be essentially removed from the game. So expect that change to change the way you look at the way you build your characters out. Next up, they talked about quality of life enhancements. So they're going to have new maps showing all character locations along with their horses, so you can manage your family effortlessly. They're going to also change the way notifications work in order to reduce the clutter that's happening on screen and where you're seeing pop-ups and things like that. All energy and enhancement storages for things like your seeds, your pearl items are going to be introduced. They're going to have character swapping along with the all-in-one preset, so that way you'll be able to swap between Wukong and whoever your main character is now. They're also making changes to life skill and crafting. So your Mono's clothing is going to be integrated with your silver embroider clothing. I don't necessarily know what the hell that means because I'm not a life skiller. They're going to boost the processing success rates to make crafting a little bit more easier and rewarding as well. And then they're going to have, like I said, those new inventory solutions with Patrigo's apparel bag and then Merv's carry-on bag. We get the enhancement or the improvements to PvP with the new blue battlefield system. So think Black Flag, and we're basically gonna have your guild various ships, and you're basically participating for rewards, mastery boosts, and experience gains overall inside there. Next up, we've got exploration and alchemy revamps. So essentially, Alan Serban's landscape, collect some pictures, and it's gonna give you new treasure hunts across all of the high AP zones inside the game. While alchemy is going to be made a little bit more clear, and the guaranteed success mechanics like the anvil are going to be introduced to those, and they're going to make the UI a little bit more friendly as well. So then we want to talk about the sovereign offhand weapon. Like I said, is going to drop August 6th, so you're going to get a combination of the best stats of Kuatum and Nuver in that sovereign offhand weapon. They're also going to have the enhanced AP for existing sovereign weapons, and they're also giving out, starting July 10th, a free Garmoth's heart. Just think about that, guys. So mythical horse, sovereign offhand weapon, Adania, and the new class Wukong. They also teased another class that's going to drop with part 2 of Adania, the Savior, that should be around Q4 2025. All right, so for all of you guys who are I just reduced 3 hours into about 5 minutes for you guys. I'm going to go a little bit more in depth to these things, so if you want to stick around, please do so. But let's jump into everything that they talked about with a little bit more detail, so that way you have an understanding. So essentially, they talked about the new Edania content that's basically inside the game, and they said the region is going to launch, like I said, with 5 initial boss castles and then the future hidden castle as well. They're going to have higher difficulty yield artifacts and life stones, while they also are introducing the new Decia's Visionary, which is going to have all AP +6, and the Amplify Life Stone of Fire, which is going to be a +2 species bonus. They also have a new stat crystal, the Dusky Oblivion and Ruin, for Edania specific monster damage. So it's going to be labeled specifically for those monsters in that region. They have the new life skill crystals as well, which can combine life XP plus mastery, and they're going to upgrade the Dawn crystals while also introducing new elixirs, draughts, and perfumes. So look forward to that. Like I said, they also are going to introduce the Edania defense gear inside here. So it's basically Tet Slumbering plus some of the fragments that you'll get from grinding out inside of Edania, and then you're going to use those enhancements so that way you can scale from pre to deck, and that should give you significant DP, DR, and evasion or stat modifiers to increase your gear progression. So your boss loot is going to include primordial fragments and gems. It's going to require about 1,000 from 1,000 fragments, and then about 100 of those from the main quest. So let's talk about Wukong, guys. So Wukong, when they showed him, is basically, like I said, available on the global labs starting June 28th, and then it's going to roll out on PC on July 2nd. It's not available on console as of yet. So you can essentially see the gameplay. I'm playing that in the background now because I think that's going to be the biggest piece of the update besides the new region that gets introduced. But he plays out with the Nimbus Cloud, which looks absolutely amazing. He has the pole arm and the gourd, and you can see his skill from what they talked about is basically maintaining combo on target for enemies. So I'm really excited about the Wukong class overall, especially with the changes that they're making to some of the combat and class changes as well. So specifically to that, accuracy, evasion, and the system overhaul that they're making. Your accuracy rate is going to be a raw accuracy, so +4 per 1%. They're going to remove skill-based accuracy, so it's going to be a +18 accuracy and infinite mastery passives. Your damage reduction, instead of being multiplicative, is going to be now additive. The species damage is going to be capped, like human damage is going to be capped to PvE. They're also introducing extra damage to characters for PvP, and then they're having a species damage capped AP wise, so summons are going to also be affected. They have PvP resistance that are going to be removed, so your grapple resist and all that stuff, that resistance is going bye-bye. The class group modifiers, so they have 3 balance clusters, and then they have the mouse movement is going to be disabled for consistency and like desync reduction overall. So your gear growth system, above 310 AP, you're going to gain +5 monster damage per additional AP, and a content like Ataraxian and the Black Shrine are now going to have DP entry requirements to them. Let's talk about those UI and quality of life improvements that they talked about. So your map upgrades. So it's going to show all your alt locations, and then it's going to have an integrated managed family system, so that way you can have movement via nodes, and they're going to be a refined knowledge icons and UI. Your notification, they're going to simplify the defaults, so that way you can toggle for other players' enhancements, cooking alerts, world bosses, guild hams, so you shouldn't get those notices anymore inside the game. They're also going to have an event page to consolidate all event info and when they end. I think this is absolutely phenomenal, instead of us having to figure out what the hell's going on when you log in, especially if you've been gone 2-3 weeks and you don't know what new events have started and what events are on the verge of ending, who to collect the quests from, things like that. They're also going to change the buff UI, so they're going to make a central view of active buffs and their sources. So you're going to have all energy access as well for those characters. So for tasks like Patrigio or working hiring, instead of having to choose individual characters, it's just going to be an all energy access inside there. They're also going to have enhancements to storage, so there's going to be a central stash for your cronstones, your hammers, your vaults, all of those things with clear terminology. One of the things they specifically mentioned is, like, I guess cronstones and how they're used wasn't clear enough, so they're going to make that a little bit more clear. So they're going to also have the ability now for you to re-challenge things like the Black Shrine bosses weekly, so you can help out other guild members and and things like that. And they're going to improve the dagger drops from bosses inside of Ataraxium. One of the things I'm most excited about, especially because Wukong is now joining the game, is the instant character swap. So that's coming soon across all clients with no loading screens. And then on August 28th, the all-in-one preset, so you can swap your gear and settings by activity, PvE, PvP, automatically. Chef's kiss on that one. Adventure log consolidation. So what they talked about here is everything's going to be streamlined into Igor Batali's log, and you'll gain all the benefits that would have been in the other books, while they're going to also introduce the advanced logs with some of those rewards. And if you've already completed them, then you'll see those rewards inside your mailbox. They talked about the seed pouch bag. So seeds for some reason don't stack, and I feel like this is a little bit of a mitigation till they get to the point where we can stack seeds. But they're going to introduce the cloud seed pouch, which is a 50 slot bag for all your seeds. All you have to do is have the acceptable farming skill level requirement, and then you can obtain it from the Old Moon manager, and it's going to be a family-wide bag. Next up, let's talk about the crafting, life skill, and inventory. So your life skill geared silver embroidered clothes are going to be replaced by the effects in Mono's clothing, and you're going to be compensated with silver or rare crystals or whatever. And then they're going to increase the rates and improve for your boosted gear as well, for your processing stuff like that. And then you're going to have the new Patrigio's large apparel bag, which is going to be 40 slots, and then the Merv carry-on bags for your costume swaps as well. One of the things that they specifically talked about in here that was very interesting was maids are going to get an improvement. So you're going to be able to set a specific maid. There's going to be UI improvements, the ability to rename them, to give them costumes, and then they're going to also have possible AI interactions. That should be interesting to see. Next up, guys, we're going back to talking about the blue battlefield. So this is going to be the new sea-based Node War style PvP that's going to happen inside Balenos 6 times weekly. So you're going to have teams of greater than 20, and you're going to win by being able to kill ships or node control. Ships will have no repairs for mid-battle. Destruction spawns and ghost travelers can teleport back. Ships, including flagships, the carracks, and so forth, the movement stats are going to be half for strategy, and then they're going to have the rewards for those are going to be like things like life mastery, life XP, gold bars, guild funds, and the ability to reroll seed crystals as well. Next up, they got into talking about Alan Serban's landscape and some of the fixes there. So you're going to basically unlock zone-based treasure hunts in the high AP zones only by collecting like scenery items. So it'll be like a history of scenery and so forth. And then the charges are going to be applied in other zones to trigger those effects as well. So they're going to maintain fixed drop rates to encourage grind diversity in that way. Next up, they talked about the alchemy system being overhauled. Basically, they're streamlining to 6 yellow grade levels for those stones, and then they're going to simplify the UI, and then they're going to have a success and pity system that's shown there. So your cron stones and your the ancient anvil are going to be there, so that way you have a guaranteed way to level up those alchemy stones. So great updates overall there. Next up, we're talking about the sovereign weapons. So that's going to be August 6th. It's going to combine the Kuatuman maneuver strats, and they're going to have 3 crafting paths similar to the way sovereign weapons currently work. They're going to be capable of reaching decks, same meta as the sovereign, and they're not going to be tradable on the marketplace. So you're going to have basically the weapon gains are going to be +1 AP at pin, hex, sep, total of 3, and then you're going to get a free Garmeth's heart that's going to be gifted to convert and add +3 AP and +50 accuracy. So that's phenomenal over there. So then we're gonna get, like I said, the new composite T11 horse that merges Doom, Danae, and Ardenaut. So, and it's going to come with all of the skills and the best stats for a mount. It's going to be good, and this is going to be available for all players who have a Kragdalos Sanctuary already. So it's going to be separate from your other alt horses inside there. So essentially, guys, we got a whole lot of changes coming over the next 3 months, with the promise of Idania Part 2, which basically completes the 10-year journey that we've been on with Black Desert and transition us into the next one. So the Wukong class, the Idania region, the PvP and class tuning, the UI and quality of life improvements, sea warfare, alchemy and crafting, weapons and mounts, and a whole lot of other things, from life skill improvements to sea pouches, maid enhancements, and so forth, were talked about at a Heidel Ball. I just broke down everything for you guys that happened inside the Heidel Ball 2025 in as much condensed time as I possibly could. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. If you did, leave a like, hit subscribe, leave a comment in the notes below. What are you excited about with Black Desert Online? Are you excited for the next 10 years of Black Desert to come? I am, especially for everything that we've seen from Crimson Desert and their system there. I'm really excited about Black Desert. I thought I was going to be jumping into Chrono Odyssey, but you know what? Black Desert continues to amaze me, continues to surprise me, and continues to be the best looking MMO on the market, hands down. All right, guys, until next time, peace.